I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
And today we're going to install a set of driven valve covers on our 2017 Kawasaki
Z125.
That's right. Okay, this is just a continuation of the series, which is get rid of the ugly and put on the sexy. What do you think about my blue color choice for the Z125, man?
It's gonna get a few hot chicks.
Don't tell your mom. Okay, Steve didn't like it. Steve said maybe I should add green or something, but I like the blue with the green. I like that you like it. That makes me feel good about it.
I would have put green on it.
Kid, you're supposed to be with me, right? This project is really pretty basic, right? Kid's off school now, it's summertime, he's here with me. And we're gonna do this together. To get this done, basically you need an 8mm wrench, right? You could use only a wrench if you wanted to. I've got a ratchet that I'm gonna use as well. Got a little bit of thread locker, a little bit of grease. The valve covers are located right up here, right? We have one on the top. We have a second one on the bottom. We're going to be reusing the stock fasteners. The first thing you'll want to do is if there's any road grime or debris up here around the covers, where the covers meet the head, you want to wipe all the way around. Because if you get any of that debris inside the motor, that could create a problem. That's the last thing we want to do. We're trying to make it look good, not make it break down. So, to remove the cover, we've got our 11-year-old. Start down here on the bottom, kid. Look at that form. This kid's going to be a natural. Can you get the cover off? Okay. We are experiencing just a little bit of fluid loss here. Really not a big deal.
Now I'm gonna remove the upper one.
It's a little tighter here on the upper cover, so little Van Man's chosen a 8mm wrench. You can see that he definitely has a firm grasp on the whole lefty-loosey, righty-tighty thing. Just like we have with the other covers that we've installed thus far, we're going to be reusing the stock O-rings that are on the covers currently. Once he gets this cover off, I'll show you what we need to do there. Okay. I'm going to clean the surfaces on the head where the cover meets the head. Do that on the upper and the lower. Now, we need to remove the O-rings from the stock covers, right? This part I'm going to do, because we want to make sure that we don't damage this. It's really important that we get it out of there and keep it in usable condition. You can first start by trying to roll it up like this with your fingernail, okay? Really light pressure. If you can't get it to come out like that, you want to kind of come in behind it with a screwdriver. Almost no pressure, okay? Because if you cut it, it's going to leak, right? Same thing here, very, very light pressure. Okay, now, I take the O-ring, and I'm going to clean it off. So that it's free of debris. If you do have any debris that is on the O-ring when you put it in, obviously that can create a leak. Now we've got our cover. Fit this in. Really, really important that you get this seated just right, okay? And that during the installation process that you keep track of the O-ring. So that's where I'm going to help little van man out here just a little bit. Okay, so we don't run into a problem. I want to take and put just a super thin film of grease. Oil would be fine too. And coat that O-ring. Now, when we slide this into position, okay, be really careful. You don't want to dislodge it. Drop that in there. We've got our fasteners now. I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of glue. Thread locker on these. Let's get that one started. As you can see, I mean, the clearance up there, right, it's pretty tight. It is pretty tight, so getting those two threaded down takes a little bit of effort. Now we need to repeat the process for the lower. Okay, got the O-ring seated in the cover. A little bit of lube. Go ahead and just put that little tickle of blue on each of these fasteners so that we're ready. Now when you put this in place, right, be careful so as not to disturb the O-ring and push it out of its groove. First one in. And the second one. How this seals eventually is the O-rings, it's held right in that groove, okay? So as long as you have it in there just right, when you snug everything up, the aluminum cover will actually be seated completely against the cylinder head, okay? And the O-ring is just then compressed in that groove, and that is where your sealing comes from. Now torque, very, very light. I believe the specification they have on the instructions right now, 6 foot-pounds, that's really not a lot, okay? If you want to use a torque wrench, you're going to have one that goes down to a very low number, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just getting each one to seat evenly, and then we'll come back and torque. This isn't a big fastener, so if you're not using a torque wrench, this isn't something you're really going to put a lot of pressure on. Now, the upper one, obviously we have to tighten with a wrench due to the low clearance, okay? But we're going to go ahead and proceed to Same method that we did on the bottom, just get them so that there's contact. And once we've done that, have them both pulling evenly, we can then torque them down. You know, in a scenario like this, if you want to use a torque wrench, you have to have some adapters and such to get in there, and it's not realistic. And for something like this, in all honesty, I don't think it's really necessary. So I get just a nice even pull. Give it that final torque. And they are installed. The amount of oil that we lost is very, very minor, okay? We have installed the entire driven engine cover kit on this now. We got cam covers, right? We got valve covers, we got the engine plug, we've got the dipstick. And truth be told, this motorcycle is ready for an oil change, so we're gonna do that now. That's not a bad idea if you do all these at one time. You know, schedule it with your maintenance so you can do the oil change and make sure you take care of it and protect your investment. What do you think, man? How do they look?
Looks pretty good.
They were easy enough that an 11-year-old could basically do it. One of the best parts about riding motorcycles is working on your bike, and we're about to do that on your 80 now, aren't we? Thanks for your help, kid. I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
This is our driven valve cover install on our Kawasaki Z125
Pro.
That's right.